Hello again, welcome back. Glad you could rejoin us, our two special guests. Great double bill tonight. Tick the boxes between the Owls and the Blades here on our live show, which is every Thursday here on Sheffield Live TV. We have Crucible snooker referee, none other than the man who will referee the World Championship final in just over 2 weeks at the Crucible, Brendan Moore. And we have Sheffield United midfielder Paul Coutts, who very sadly suffered that horrendous broken leg earlier this season, but happily is now well on the road to recovery and hopes to be back for the beginning of next season. Was that always the prognosis, that this season would be written off and you'd be back for next, or what were you told?
Yeah, they don't really like to put any timescale on it because every bone's pretty random and the heel's completely different, but the surgeons basically said to me, or the specialist, I think, who didn't need a surgery, said pre-season you've done well, you're just ahead of track, but it means everything's gone smoothly.
So you are ahead of schedule?
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, obviously if it went amazingly, I could have maybe got back towards the end of the season, but I'm just not going to have time to tick all the boxes in terms of running, your fitness, training, play a reserve game. You know, that just all takes so much time. So I'm going to run out of time. It's probably going to be just as the season's finishing, I'll be ready to train and the lads will be ready to go on holiday.
Yeah, you've got a really hard working summer ahead, but no time off at all, I would imagine.
No, not really. I mean, it's been hard. It's been hard so far. I mean, the work I've done with Lee McMahon in the gym has been really tough, but I feel physically fit. Just need the bone to just settle down a little bit now and sort of remolds and restructures a little bit. So that's all taking place just now. I need to get used to running again.
Do you ever worry that you'll recapture the form that you were in and be the player that you were after such a long layoff and such a serious injury?
No, well, I hadn't. No, not until
not until I asked the question. Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, I don't think so. I think it was.
I'm not saying that you won't be, but I'm just saying that it's human nature. That you get an injury like that.
It's a bad injury, but it's straightforward. There's been no surgery. It's a bone. It's healed. It's about just getting a bit of confidence back in it. But you know, I'd done my knee before, and that was a complicated injury, and it took ages to build the muscle around it. I mean, my legs are stronger than they were beforehand now. So it's just really waiting for the bone, and I feel comfortable with myself that, you know, I'll be able to get it back. Maybe not straight away, but, you know, I'll have sort of 6 weeks of pre-season to feel my way back in, I guess.
Yeah. Brendan, it's been one long tale of injuries at Hillsborough. You know, nothing as quite as serious or as dramatic as Paul's, but, you know, every player with a reputation at some time or another has been out this season. It's been an incredible season for that, hasn't it?
Yeah, they just always first team's been out, but like you said earlier, slowly coming out the other side of it now. We've looked a different team when Barry Bannon's been back, Forestier is back in the side. Hutchinson came back again.
I think Nuhu and Zhao are fit as well for this weekend.
Yeah, and the partnership that they've developed together.
Yeah. Did you ever see Nuhu winning the fans over in the way that he's done and scoring the great goals that he's done?
Well, win the fans over, yeah, because he does try.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden he's scoring the goals as well now. So fair play to him. I think he's earned his contract.
Yeah. Do you ever have a little look across the fence?
Yeah, we've got to keep an eye on it, don't we? You know, I think obviously we'd had a long time in League One, which was nowhere near good enough for this club, and you know, we're getting a bit of grief from this lot that, you know, they dominated the city, etc., etc. So, yeah, we've got to keep an eye on where they're at.
Talk about Ati Nuhu, and it's always amazed me the stick he's had from supporters because he is such a wholehearted player. Playing well or not, he's an absolute 100%er, you know. And, you know, normally I think Sheffield people appreciate that.
Yeah.
For some reason, he's had his detractors. You're no stranger to that either, because you've turned your fortunes and the way you're perceived by Sheffield United supporters completely around, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Obviously, I think everyone around the club, including the players, fans, staff, everyone was frustrated with, you know, how it was going, particularly under Nigel Atkins, I'd imagine. Certainly from the players' point of view, but I think we're helping the gaffer. You know, he's absolutely galvanised the club and turned the fans' opinion of all the players, and you know, I think they enjoy coming coming to watch the team now, and they see what effort we're putting in, and it comes from the manager, to be fair. So credit to him for that, really. There was a lot of discontent around the place in previous regimes, as I said, and he had a job in his hands, and he managed to turn it around.
Nigel Clough knew what you could do, knew what sort of a player you were, and signed you for that position when he was Sheffield United manager, which is central midfield, good ball distributor, etc.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, the next manager played you on the wing.
Sometimes didn't play me.
Sometimes didn't play you at all.
Yeah, I think we had too big a squad under Nigel Atkins, and I don't want to criticise previous manager or anything, but it seemed a little bit like, in the process of trying to keep everyone happy, he ended up with no one happy. There wasn't a settled 11. People were playing out of position, etc., and we couldn't pick up results. The fans were unhappy. They weren't enjoying the football we were seeing. So yeah, it wasn't a great time, to be fair. But the gaffer now is obviously he turned everything around, and it didn't take him too long to do it.
No, very quickly. But you were saddled with the frustration, and at every football club there are players who get picked on, scapegoat being a word. I felt you were one of those. Did you actually feel that you were one of those?
Well, I felt like the whole campaign was under Nigel Atkins was just so disappointing. So it was half merited, for everyone involved in it. We'd all played a part. No one can affect the results more than the players on the pitch, so we'd all played a part in it. What did we finish with? 10th in League One, so for a club like this, it's nowhere near good enough. So it is what it is. People are frustrated, and you're there to be shot at, so it's fine. It doesn't really bother me too much, because as you see, it can change so quickly in football. And
well, then you started on the transfer list under the new manager, Chris Wilder. But not only you, there was Kieran Freeman as well. And several of you. You turned that around.
Yeah, to be fair to him, he phoned me, the gaffer, and just said, before we'd gone to pre-season, before the title-winning campaign, and he was, making changes, and you're sort of a victim of that. You're going to be moved on. That was fine. There had to be changes from the previous year, but he also said, you'll come in pre-season, you won't be treated any differently. If you work hard and show yourself, the door's not shut. I thought, great, I'll prove him wrong then. So just worked hard and got in the team, and obviously last season was a special season that I don't think many people will experience that sort of year in their careers. So it was just amazing to be a part of, really.
He was happy to be proved wrong, and not every manager does that.
No.
If they transfer list people, I'm right and I'm not going to be persuaded.
Yeah, it was never like that, really. The discussion with him, he said the door is always going to be open for you if you do the right things and work hard, and he was true to his word.
We'll come back with on that theme with Paul in a moment. Have you had to prove people wrong in your snooker refereeing career? Who decides who's going to referee these major tournaments and who's going to referee the final, etc.?
Well, the tournament director, Mike Ganley, he's the boss. I
knew his father, Len.
Yeah,
a little bit.
He's the guy that spotted me in the first place to get me in the professional ranks to begin with. But Mike Ganley's the tournament director. He's the one that works alongside Martin Clark, Jan Bahas, Paul Collier. They're the top refs. They work out the refs that work at all these events. Me, Jan and Paul, and then Olivier Martier, we go around the world assessing all the refs, coaching them, getting them to the level that we want. But the actual reffing of the games, of the tournaments, are selected by Mike and Jan, I do believe.
Great. And you've never been on the transfer list, as far as you're aware?
Probably been close a couple of times, but no, not anymore. No.
Have you been involved in any, really major controversies? You do get them sometimes where the referee, can make a mistake like touching a ball or moving it inadvertently.
Yeah, you see it every now and then, but I don't think, touch wood, that I've actually been involved in any myself at the moment. Yeah. So nothing that I call controversial.
There is that thing where the photographic memory that you have to have for where the concentration must be intense, because you've got to try and put the balls back where they were. I know you have a little bit of in that respect now with TV. I don't know if that's official or unofficial.
Yeah, but not always. That's the thing. Like, if we have events where we've got 10 tables and one of them's televised, only that one on TV has the Hawkeye system to help you put the balls back. So every referee, whether it's televised or not, it's trained into you to focus, concentrate. Even if you've got that system, you're still supposed to...
It's memory and guesswork, and then agreement with the players. So you all come to an agreement.
Yeah, it's concentration is the main thing, because...
How do you must have a photographic memory to get them all back, because sometimes several balls move.
Well, yeah, you need help for that if it's several. I mean, you get them back the best you can. But just the whole concentration in general, you could be out there anywhere from an hour to 4 or 5 hours. A player can sit down between turns, but the referee's constantly on his feet, constantly having to think about
and count
game.
Score, count out the break and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're constantly having to think about. But then, obviously, there's that much going on. You've got to concentrate anyway. So
as a football referee is kind of best not seen or heard. You're always going to be heard, but you hope not to be seen. It's the same principle, isn't it?
When I first refereed, the first UK final I did, Dennis Taylor was commentating. He came to me after the game and he said, "Oh, you an apology?" He said, "I never mentioned you today." And I said, "Perfect. If you've not mentioned me, then I've done my job." And I was quite happy with that. And I think that's the aim for every referee. You don't want to get mentioned.
No, you don't want to get mentioned, but you're out there and you're on TV regardless. You know, you're going to be there. What do your family make of it when you keep cropping up? Oh, look, there he is again. Look at him there.
Well, to be fair, they have to watch TV to see where I am. We were in Beijing recently, and somebody was asking my wife where I am, and all she knew was it was in China somewhere. Because we have that many tournaments now, she couldn't remember where he was. She said, "Just put the TV on, and you'll find out where he is."
Find out. Yeah,
she can't remember.
Paul, you were talking about coming off the transfer list. Chris Wilder made his mind up that he got it wrong. In your case, Kieran Freeman's case, etc. And but it was a tactical change as well at the beginning of last season, wasn't it? That brought you, into your is the best form of your career. Do you think, or not?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, definitely. I think we started the season really poorly, and I hadn't been playing. Was it Southend we had at home? I think it was Southend. We're 3-0
Lost
down.
at Millwall was the last one of the sequence. You beat Oxford 2-1 at home.
That's right. Yeah. I think we're 3-0 down at home to Southend, and I think he chopped me on, and he was not happy anyway, and he chopped me on, and I think it finished 3-0, and I did all right, but I played deep and got on the ball, and then we went to Millwall. We played well enough, and Jack handled it last minute, and we conceded a penalty. And then after that, we went on the run, but we played well at Millwall, and I'd played deep. And after that, I found myself just going deep, and it wasn't really something discussed. I just found myself managing to get on the ball easier by doing it, and I wasn't playing like a normal centre midfielder up against their midfield.
No.
I was sort of dropping right out of it, and it seemed to work. Especially, all I had to do was get it and give it to Flecky.
All I had to do. You make it look very simple, but you
give it to Flecky and say, "Go on, have a run with that."
But you keep it ticking over. You don't lose possession. You thread little passing moves together. Is this kind of deep lying role, getting the ball off the defence, and is this something you've done before in your career or not?
Yeah, I played it actually at the start of my career at Peterborough, and Darren Ferguson played me there. We got promoted from League One as well, and then he took me to Preston, and I played there, but they sacked him quite quick. I can't remember, it was quite harsh, I think.
Yeah.
And I ended up playing on the right of a diamond and stuff like that, and I've always ended up either getting put to the right or narrow on the right or something like that, and it just doesn't suit my game as well as going deeper and getting on the ball in the middle.
I think you were captain at one time at Preston, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then a certain Graham Wesley took over.
Yeah,
that must have been interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it was.
Did he take the captaincy off you by text, or did he actually speak to you?
No, I think he did.
What, by text?
Yeah, well, I got 10 yellow cards, so I was suspended anyway. Right. And I can't remember. We played somebody, and he wasn't happy. He wanted me to apologise to the group. I said, "What for?" I said, "Tried
for your 10 yellows."
Yeah, for getting another booking or whatever. I said, "I can't apologise. It was I had to go in for the tackle sort of thing." And he took the captaincy off me. And
because you wouldn't.
Yeah, and sent me home for the week until my suspension was up, and then when I got back in, he gave me the armband back. I don't know why. It was a bizarre time, really.
Well, he ended up going to sack.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he used to train proper 9 in the morning, 6 at night every day. He'd train.
Really?
Yeah, every day he would train that way. But we couldn't get any wins on a Saturday, and he kept asking me as a captain why we're not. And I said the lads are knackered. We was here at 6 o'clock last night, Gaffer. We need to tone it down a little bit. So yeah, it didn't work out too well.
No, and he hasn't worked out too well at other clubs he's been to either,
yeah,
is it?
I think he had success at Stevenage, but obviously it's a bit of a unique way of going about it.
Yeah, Darren Ferguson a couple of times.
Yeah,
got on all right with him, obviously.
Yeah, really good. Good manager. He was brilliant for me at the start of my career. Obviously, he was a centre midfielder, and he was a nice footballer. He used to join in at Peterborough. I don't know if he still does now at Doncaster.
Well, probably does. I remember him playing for Wrexham as a central midfielder.
Yeah, he was a really nice footballer. So he taught me loads of things, just about little passes in the game and positional sense and stuff like that. And it's only when I think, getting a bit older, you sort of managed to put it into practice on a match day, the positional play and stuff like that. He tried to teach me, but I've always remembered the sort of little coaching tips. He used to spend a lot of time with me after training, just one-on-one, and he was really good for me.
Playing the role that you have been doing, have you been aware of just how vital a cog in the wheel you've become?
No, not really. I've seen obviously some stats about passing and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm not too aware of it now.
No, but players who've come in have done well. I mean, John Lundstrom, Lee Evans has really proved a good signing. I don't know if you'd agree.
I would.
John Fleck, who you mentioned, phenomenal.
Yeah, fantastic.
Mark Duffy. So somehow playing a slightly different way, the team has gone some way to overcoming.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lonnie and Lee Evans, both of them are really gifted footballers. Technically, they're both brilliant, and I think they're going to be top players, really. But they're both young, and you get a bit of inconsistency with that. So it sort of gets highlighted a little bit. Obviously, you're saying about stats and stuff like that, so it gets highlighted a little bit. But they're both going to be top players, I think.
Can Sheffield United still do it, Brendan, in the playoffs?
Good question for you, Brendan, isn't it?
No. That's not been blinkered. I don't think they will at this point now. The form that some of the other teams in and the teams that they've got to go and play. I personally don't think so.
3 points in it, but there's any number of permutations. What do you think?
It's possible without that. Obviously, it's possible.
Yeah, I think you can, read a lot into everyone's running, but if we're just focused on going to try and win 3 games starting on Saturday, that's all you can do. If you do that, you don't get in, fair enough. And if you do, you've got every chance.
2 away from home, Birmingham fighting relegation, Bristol City, who could yet be just a point behind you, could yet sneak into the playoffs, and the other one is another playoff rival, Preston, at home. That's the one home game.
Yeah.
So
they're all pretty tough. I mean, you've seen on last weekend, was it Burton going beat Derby to give themselves a fighting chance. So anyone can beat anyone, really, but. If we perform like we can do and like we have the majority of the season, we'll back ourselves to win most games. Yeah.
Come to the gravity machine in a minute because I'm intrigued by that.
Okay.
Crucible, all the big names, most of the big names are there, aren't they? Ronnie O'Sullivan, Mark Selby, who else? We've got Neil Robertson, I think, John Higgins, Ding Junhui, maybe it's going to be his year, Judd Trump, you can't say who you fancy if you fancy anybody, but is it going to be... it's always that intrigue. Is it going to be one of the ones we know, or is somebody that we don't know going to come and surprise us?
Yeah, well, I forget the actual months. I read a stat today. I think it's something like 20 matches since Mark Selby last got beat in a match that's over 2 sessions. And obviously every match at the Crucible's minimum 2 sessions, so he's going to take some stopping.
Yes.
Ronnie's Ronnie. We all know about Ronnie.
Yeah.
Stuart Bingham's hitting some form. Neil Robertson's getting back to form. All the top 16 are all there on merit anyway, so they're all cracking players. Some of the players that have come through that people that don't go to the qualifiers that won't have heard of, that we do know how well they can play because the strength and depth is so good. The Thailand lad, Tepchai Ranu, he'll be making his debut there. He's playing John Higgins. He'll be a handful. I mean, you watch this guy play. His average shot time something like 17, 18 seconds.
Really?
same as Jack Lazowski. I forget who he drew, but he's another dangerous one that nobody will want to play. So I think it's one of the most...
I think he got Bingham.
He got Bingham, did he?
So, yeah, I'm sure he did.
That'll be a really interesting game. But and then you've got 2 all Chinese clashes in the first round. It's one of the most tightest championships to call for me. I have no idea. Even if you put me on the spot to pick a winner, I genuinely don't know who
You wouldn't be allowed to say anyway.
I wouldn't anyway, no, but I wouldn't know. I mean, even in private, I genuinely don't know who I would think would win this one. I think it's going to be so close. I think it's going to be one of the best World Championships we've had.
Good, yeah, I think you could be right. I mean, from occasional visits in recent years and from doing it a lot in the opening years, I was really struck by the camaraderie between the players, by and large.
Yeah. Well, it's
really
not just the players. I mean, it's one big family, if you like.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get out to the Crucible, you've got 2 tables that are close together. So there's 4 players out there, 2 referees, 4 cameramen, and they're all cameramen that we're used to. And with the live game, there's an extra cameraman sat on the floor. So everybody knows everybody anyway. So you all work as a team. I mean, anyone that comes in to watch, that will see how small it is and how close, really, and they'll see like all the movement in between the players, the cameraman, the referee. It's like it's a little dance, if you like. It's fascinating.
You're working in such a tight space, and it's only by going down there and watching, particularly in the 2-table situation, you realise what a tight space you're working in.
Yeah,
you really
and then
are.
when you see it,
I think you should be on Strictly because you're so good at managing.
I wouldn't know what to do with all that room. I wouldn't know what to do with that room.
You mark my words. One day you'll be on Strictly. Paul, the gravity machine, which is helping you get full power into your running again. How does that work? What is that?
So it's a treadmill basically down at the Institute of Sport in the GB boxing gym where it's got a thing you lift up to your waist, you wear special shorts, you get strapped in.
Yeah.
You push start and it calibrates your weight, fills with air.
Right.
So then you can adjust.
Kind of like a Michelin man sort of thing.
It's only to your waist.
Yeah, only around your waist, yeah.
So basically, at 100%, you've got 0 gravity.
So you could be running in space or something.
Like you're on the moon, basically, yeah. Right. Sorry, that's at 0%, but 100% is like normal treadmill.
Okay, so it's normal effort, 100%.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
50% tomorrow.
50% tomorrow?
Yeah, so it'll go 5% up every day. I mean, it feels great, but you've got to be careful with it. It's more, I feel great doing it, and they're more scared of afterwards how you're going to feel.
Yeah.
So they're going really steady and really slow with me. Obviously, I've got time until pre-season to build up slowly.
But this prevents you from doing any damage. Whereas if you're trying ordinary running, you could damage yourself.
Well, it takes all the stress off your joints and off your bones. So obviously, I'm at 50% tomorrow, stress-wise. And it's felt great. I've had no reactions to it at all. So I'll go back 5% every day for the next 2 to 2.5 weeks, and that'll be me ready to go back on the grass and start the hard yards then.
Well, Paul, I'm sure I speak for every Sheffield United fan in saying that you're welcome back as soon as possible, and everybody will be absolutely delighted to see you back on the pitch again, and not just in a sweaty studio when you could have been barbecuing in your back garden. I really do appreciate these 2 guys coming in this evening as they have done and sacrificing this superb weather. So, if you've only just come in and you've been out sipping the tins of beer or whatever, and you've had a barbie and you've missed it, it'll be on my YouTube channel later on. Meantime, Brendan Moore, Paul Coutts, thanks ever so much. Been brilliant, guys. See you.
Thanks.